90-day fiance keeps getting faker by the moment. But as we can see here from this post posted by 90-day fiance news and memes, Amani admits that she married Matt for a green card to stay in the US. So let's get into the information that is provided. Only a few episodes into the new season 11 of 90 Day Fiancé, fans have already noticed that Amani is a smart, ambitious, and hard-working woman who will do whatever it takes to achieve her goals. However, her relationship with her husband Matt may not be as it seems. Continues here by saying Amani and Matt's marriage could potentially be more of a business transaction than a genuine romance. A Reddit user recently shared that they lived in Amani and Matt's home as a pair for 2 years, taking care of their kids. According to this user, Amani and Matt were the worst hosts and constantly fought, even hurling horrible insults at each other in front of their children. That is just disgusting, isn't it? Absolutely disgusting. And then it continues here, obviously we got the reference of the Reddit person, and then it continues here by saying the Reddit user expressed shock upon learning that the couple were still together, suggesting their marriage may not be genuine. Instead, it appears they may be legally married for their kids while joining 90 Day Fiancé for fame. Rumors have surfaced about the couple being involved in a love triangle with Annie, a Mexican stripper only for the show. Amani recently had a Q&A session on Instagram, during which a fan asked how old she was when she married Matt. Her response raised eyebrows. Amani explained that she came to the US from Tunisia on a student visa, full of dreams and eager for the opportunities available in the US to hard-working individuals. However, she quickly addressed that life as an international student was limiting. Continues here by saying she was restricted to working on campus and required a specific employer-sponsored visa to work after graduation. These limitations, along with the risk of losing her ability to stay in the United States, led her to make a bold decision. She revealed that she married Matt, whom she met at university, at the age of 21. The marriage happened quickly and without a wedding. Interesting, so they eloped, I'm assuming. Has it seemed to be the fastest and most practical way to secure her stay in the United States, obtain a green card, and later pursue citizenship. This allowed her to start chasing her dreams and accomplishing her goals in the United States. Now, after being together for over a decade, Amani and Matt may still care for each other and want what's best for their kids. However, their marriage appears to have started on shaky ground and has since deteriorated. They seem to be living together more as a business partners and co-parents than as a loving couple. I mean, listen, I feel like this probably does make a whole lot of sense in some ways. I mean, if I just go back to this chapter here before I actually go up to the top again, when we speak about how she was obviously restricted to working on campus, as well as also these limitations, and then also getting married at the age of 21, as well as also making that marriage happen very quickly so she could obtain her green card amongst also her citizenship. I mean, obviously, let's just say her and Matt were together then, and let's just say back then, she obviously, used her intelligence or her manipulation or whatever it is to convince Matt that this was the best thing, well, this is what they had to do if they were to stay in a relationship. Because who knows, maybe at the age of 21, maybe she was actually close to actually having to leave the United States, so Matt may have come in the right time, and then therefore she took advantage of obviously being together. And I would imagine that obviously she would have told Matt that, listen, we have to get married, otherwise I'm gonna have to go, and if I have to go, then that means our relationship is probably going to be over. And let's be real, if we really think about it, I don't see why Matt would say no, because I mean, he's probably seen an attractive woman and probably thought, I don't think I can get any better. It really depends on what Matt's self-esteem was at the time. But let's read exactly what was said word for word by the person on Reddit. They said, when I was a and still living in America with these two clowns, where my host parents, laugh out loud. Can't believe she's desperately trying to be an influencer. These two have no business still being married and still raising those girls the way they are. And that's another thing. The fact that they are raising their daughters in an unhealthy way, or at least it seemed like as if they were raising them in an unhealthy environment, is crazy work. You know what I mean? But also on top of that, then that tells me that right now their plan is to get divorced so he can marry Annie and bring her to America. I've got a strong feeling that that marriage or that divorce doesn't happen. Not like, listen, obviously if they got divorced right now, it wouldn't affect Amani. She's obviously a citizen now anyway, regardless, right? But I just don't see it happening. But hey ho. Nonetheless, though, it continues here by saying, still raising those girls the way they are. Yes, I'm calling you out, Amani, and Matt, for being horrible parents. These people's home, loosely using the word home here, is the saddest household I've ever lived in my entire existence, and I grew up in a not so happy household, so I know what I'm talking about. These two duckers, or efforts should I say, for every single day of the 2 years I lived with them. They've called each other the most hurtful things in front of their children. She hates him. It shocks me how they are still pushing their human being. And I truly, I don't know if this actually connects, that doesn't actually make sense, but either way though, we continue. And I truly hope she suffers in every way humanly possible for how she treated me while I lived in her house. I hope she knows that I only stayed for that long because I truly loved and cared for her children like she never could bring herself to loving them. That's a strong statement right there. This woman called me a slave multiple times in front of her kids. Hey, that's ugly, man. And chuckled every time she said it. There's so much that happened in that house, and they caused me and their children so much trauma. I hope a family member takes it upon themselves to take those kids from them, because they're going to need a lot of therapy in the future. Man, I think bullies bully people hoping that they won't retaliate. LOL. They really messed with the wrong one. I have receipts and nothing to lose. Well, the question is this person willing to actually drop this receipts at some point? That is what it comes down to. The way I look at it, if you're gonna say that you got receipts and you have nothing to lose, well then drop the receipts ASAP, because don't be saying those kind of things with no action. Because if you say those things out of action, well then it kind of dedunks your efforts to obviously make this Reddit post itself in particular anyway, if you know what I'm saying. But again, obviously we don't know if these things are 100% true due to the fact that this person has not dropped any receipts. But I would say, obviously, upon what we've seen so far in the season, I guess there's elements that may back up that it could be true that she used him to stay in America. That is something that I can see potentially happening. Regarding the treatment of their children, I don't have a comment because I actually haven't seen them in terms of how they actually do behave around their kids. And also on top of, do these two come across the type of people that would maybe say harmful things in front of their kids? I see it, but I don't feel like I see it for the right reason. I feel like I see it more by judging the book by its cover rather than, seeing it because of anything that they've done that gives me that necessarily vibe, if you know what I mean. But either way though, I really hope that this person is able to drop in some evidence, some receipts, so therefore we can have a full picture of what was. Therefore we have more belief beyond what they're saying. But I'm sure you folks already have your own opinions of how you may or may not believe what is being said here. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section and we'll talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.